All right, hello, this is Alexander Wales. What are we doing today? Today is the exclusions document. So last time we did manifest, I've added a couple to-dos here. I'm not going to do this today, but I've added a couple to-dos of things I think will that are more interesting about it. Um, so I think this is currently, unfortunately, the entry that needs the most work, but extended descriptions of like the destruction, like the actual. There's like, sorry, I'm gonna close my window. Some like evocative descriptions of death and destruction and stuff like that is, I think, needed here for more impact. The idea of like bodies raining down from a tower as manifest uses his control of people to have them kill themselves. Um, just the widespread terror and destruction as part of the dismantling of the core of the Second Empire. Second, I want a short, at least a short description here of like the time when people were just trying to live and get by as normal people in a normal city, even though it had been taken over by this guy. Because I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting for people to just like get on with their lives. And then last, I need some kind of focus on this, like why. I think the zone is at least partly about terrorism or something. Not terrorism necessarily, but like the extreme ends that someone will go to, and the application of force and stuff like that. And note on Raven, but I'm worried this is gonna make this entry like twice as long. But that's fine. I just I was kind of I'm not happy with this. I guess I'll just say that. So that's going to be next time. Hopefully the stream is on low latency mode today. But if it's not, I don't really understand what's going on with Twitch. I'll fix it later. So today is going to be the Valley of Cards. Yeah, I see that test. Today is going to be the Valley of Cards. It is there's something called tarot magic. All right. Well, five-second delay is still better than what it was before, so I'll take that as a win. Especially for something like this, where immediate responses are really not necessary, in my opinion. I'm gonna get some water and close my door real quick. So, tarot magic came from this specific D&D campaign. I'm going to explain this and I'll go get some water. This game was called God Game. It's a world where gods outnumber people, and this was the campaign that I was playing when I started writing Worth the Candle. And I took a lot of ideas from Worth the Candle and put them in here, and a lot of ideas from here and put them in Worth the Candle, and they were cross-pollinating each other for most of the writing, for most of the first fourth of Worth the Candle, which is the first 400,000 words. I was running this specific campaign, and one of the ideas I had for this campaign was it's just going to have so much stuff in it. And so there was a lot of stuff in here. You can see the Platonic Realm is here. The out of alignment ethereal plane, which we will get to in one of these entries. Yeah, a lot of stuff in here. 29 arch planes, which pretty much entirely made it into Worth the Candle. So this doc is like a proto world building doc for Worth the Candle. Copy clans were Doris Finch. I'm not going to go through all these. Sorry. I just want tarot magic. This was my world building doc. Oh man, if I could do this today, I would add in so many pictures. There'd be like a picture for every one of these classes, and there'd be a picture for every city, and yeah, there'd be so many pictures because of the AI art. I would probably spend 10 or 20 hours. I'm not an addict. I think it's a super good addition to writing. I think pictures add a lot to writing, and If you can do it for like, if you can spend like 20 minutes and get a good result you're happy with, that's better than spending 20 minutes making, writing like 300 words or 400 words or whatever you can do in 20 minutes. Um, like it's better to spend that time making one image for a chapter. But the problem is, AI art can't really do the level of consistency that you need, and there's certain stuff it just can't make. So sometimes you're not going to spend 20 minutes, sometimes you're going to spend like 2 hours. But this is the point of being in this entry. I will have you, you can read that while I go fill up my water. I should have done that before stream, but I forgot. So this is tarot magic. A tarot mage has a deck of cards, and he draws in order to cast spells. They need to be randomized, or he can't cast spells. And I say he because the tarot mage was actually the like primary antagonist for a really good chunk of the campaign. So he was a tarot mage. How I did that in game was I had like a raider white or raider weight or whatever you call it. Anyway, I had an actual tarot deck, and I would flip up a card, and each card was associated with a spell, and so I would make a big show as a DM of flipping up a card and showing the spell and saying what that spell was. And so I had this, I had this tarot deck and whatever, and I did stack the deck specifically to give some rhythm to the combat. And so it was like, if we make it to 7 rounds, then he pulls out the portal, and a portal opens up, and he leaves. And it was really cool, and players loved it a lot. It's the kind of thing that you should definitely do as a DM if you have a great idea for like an easy prop or an easy gimmick or something like that. But functionally, the problem for... Sorry, I gotta turn my phone off. We can also kinds of messages. The in terms of balance, the thing that I thought was super cool about this was that like you'd never know when you start. I mean, in universe, you don't know when you start what spell you're going to be casting, and so you just know that you're going to be casting a spell, and you like when you flip up the card, you have to like really really quick figure out, okay, how am I using this spell that I just cast? Like, because you don't want to waste it, right? You don't want to like spend your whole action economy firing off spells that you don't need. And so it's hard because you have this whole for these kinds of wizards, they have the whole gamut of D&D spell effects, but like you're not going to have a flight spell in there, because then like you have no way to do flying when you need it, unless you want to like fire through your whole deck, which you can't do because of I don't know, I had some other limitations in there. But this is what we're doing. This is what so most of it is going. I'm actually just going to copy in this, and I'm sure there was some other stuff. I guess I'm not using any of this. There's Manifold right there. This is Uniquelomancy. Feng Shui. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff from in this world building document that just made it almost entirely wholesale into worth the candle because they were made at the same time. We'll call this the VC. Just gonna leave a little note to myself here. Because I think that's funny. Sorry, I'll answer this question. Are we on the cusp of seeing neural networks change everything forever in regards to media output? My feeling is yes. I am an early adopter in the sense that I'm using a lot of, I'm playing around with them a lot, and I am trying to get like useful, productive, artistic work from them, which can be a challenge sometimes. I think in another year or two, it's going to be like absolutely crazy, and you won't need to do so many of the workarounds that you need to do now. I also think that what's going to be really in demand is skill with Photoshop to clean some of those pictures up. Though in painting is probably going to help a lot too. And there's so many features that haven't even been touched yet. Within the, like, we call it text to image. It's really more than that because the network can be used for many things. It can be for like image blending, like you take two input pictures and you generate a mix of the two and stuff like that. That like people just aren't using because the tools are kind of suck right now. But the tools are going to suck less in a year or two. It's going to have a huge impact on Fiverr. I think Fiverr is going to not die necessarily, but Fiverr is so unregulated, and things like it are so unregulated that, like, how do you even, like, you can't trust a portfolio now, or you have to look at a portfolio and try to see, like, okay, is this portfolio created through AI art? Like, for some of them, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of impacts. I think it's going to disrupt a lot of stuff. And the funny thing is, I'm not sure how much money there is to be made. I think a lot of stuff is going to get disrupted, and then, like, I'm not sure that we're going to have, like, big companies in on it that much. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's just like Stable Diffusion is really good, and it's open source. So, like, So I've in terms of text generation, I think there's a longer way to go. The thing with the AI art, and I'm just going to talk about this for just like a tiny bit more. The thing with AI art is that, the thing with AI art is that a lot of it is like good enough, like this the prompt was wildfire. This took like 5 seconds. This is good enough to put in in a document, or like this is probably even good enough to be published. I think it's much harder to get at above the like quality waterline that you need for writing. I have tried co-writing with GPT-3 and I just find it terrible. Okay. Right. So actually start writing. Yeah, I think it's wild times ahead. That's my upshot. And I think what we're seeing now is follows from DALL-E 2's publication or from GPT-3. And GPT-3 was like the big paper. That was 5 years ago. DALL-E 2 was 2 years ago. So like the timelines we're on, and especially how much scaling can help, it's going to change a lot. I need an I think this is like post Uther. You know what? I think this is going to be like a wartime one. I think 74. Oh, I can check actually. where we have a gap in our timeline. Sort me A to Z. Sorry, I'm just going to do this real quick. How do I make a chart? This is a dumb thing to not know how to do. Is this a chart button? Insert chart. No, not a pie chart. Okay, I'm not sure which kind of chart there should be to like actually help me. I just want some. Okay, I'm not actually gonna do that. I just wanted some kind of output to like visualize where the dates are and make sure that the clusters are in the right spot. Yeah, it does look like, well, that would be Second Empire. Okay, I'm just gonna pick a date. That's how we just do this. We're gonna pick it right between here, right between Glassy Fields and Baudelaire. So this is, so we'll say like 58. Like, it doesn't make sense for the exclusions to be regularly spaced, but I also want to make sure there's not like, well, do I want to make sure there's not a gap? Oh, and then I gotta check if tarot does not show up there. Sorry, I did not do my check yesterday either. Usually, I set myself up better than that. Turn my volume on the computer off. Okay. We'll say self-casting magic. Is Valley is not correct. Okay. Whoops. Okay, let's ask ourselves, what is cool about this? Breaking systems is always cool. It's not always cool, but I think it's going to be a cool thing about this. I think we are going to not do venture capital, but I don't know if that's cool. But I do want that to be part of the zone, because I think it's funny. I think it's funny just for the letters. Ordered randomness. Unique spells or effects. Okay. That's my brief for myself. That's what we're going to try to do to make this a more interesting exclusion. I do think that... Oh, one other thing that I forgot. A footnote on Uther's. So what I mean by that is I have this... I have this idea that Uther, that the like tarot mage in question would be like a villain we just never heard about, or maybe an ally. I think ally works better. Like a former ally of Uther's who's never mentioned in the text and is like self-important about it and stuff. Ink magic and okay, we'll just say overlapping with ink magic because I feel like there's a second one that the overlap should be, but I can't recall at the moment. Tattoo magic, I guess. You would only know what spell. And yeah, we're bringing card games in. I'm bringing card game. I should add that here. Card games. I used to play a ton of Magic the Gathering. I used to do Friday Night Magic every Friday, and then I'd spend my the week either like playing games with friends or like working on my decks or like reading up on like Star City games. That was a great time in my life, but I approached Magic the Gathering in the addictive way that I approach pretty much everything, and I just let it consume me. Which is I have come to accept as just kind of part of how I am. It makes me better at certain things, I think, but it's not always hugely healthy, I guess. Also, kind of think that it's not like I kind of think it's not that good in certain circumstances because I just get consumed by things. Can a mage have multiple decks? Yes. Generally, they could have like two weaker decks. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to spend explaining the specifics of this, but I think at least a little because it is one of the interesting things. But part of the idea is you're limited by cost here, and I mean I kind of like it better if you can't have two decks, but but I think the answer is that you can. And it's just generally not done because then you're splitting your resources across across those two decks. But like if you wanted a fire deck and an ice deck or something like that. We are going to say it's hard to have multiple decks to do this deck switching. It does break the Magic the Gathering metaphor a little bit, or not metaphor, but like the parallel a little bit, because you need typical, like in the typical scenario, yeah, like yes, you have multiple decks, but you generally pilot like a single deck through a PTQ or whatever. This is an equivalent to Magic the Gathering where you can have like 4 of a spell. Like you can't just have. I think that's the rule. Anyway, I haven't played Magic in years and years, but you put a limit on how many of each card someone can put in, and then people always make the smallest deck they possibly can because a large deck will naturally have more variance, and you want the highest concentration of good cards that you can. All right. Do cards get remixed back into the deck once cast? I think you go through. This is not going to be in the entry, but I think you go through half your deck, and then reshuffle. It is also interesting to have everything go to the discard, and then you only go once the deck gets reshuffled once the discard is full, because then when you're at the end of the deck, you in theory have been counting cards, and you know exactly what the deck contains. So you get like a brief moment of minimized variance. that's interesting. But I think it's going to be unspecified here. So if you want to write your fanfic, and this is the only thing I'm ever going to write about tarot magic. I can tell you that now, unless I use it in a different work. All right, man or woman? I am actually going to roll for this one. Got my huge, chunky metal dice here. We'll say odd is male, even is female. Odd is male. Okay, that works. I know it would work either way, but... Oh, well, okay, here's the problem. I don't know where my tarot deck is. It's probably in my basement. I'm gonna search for it real quick. Okay, nope, I don't know where it is. No, here. We could do online tarot deck draw. Let's do it online. Gold Thread Tarot. Get a tarot reading. The V of Wands. Wands is male. Okay. Yeah, I mean the bigger problem is like is species as well. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Because it mostly doesn't matter. I don't really. I just want to make sure it's not all men. Not that I think I would necessarily like do that, but it's not the representation that matters to me. It's the texture, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I need to write a blog post because I feel like it's something I've been thinking about, and a blog post is a good way to get things out of my system. God Game can be closed. Okay. I also was going to write a blog post on prologues. Like, it was going to be titled A Weak Defense of Prologues, and talk about the ways in which they can be used and why people don't like them and stuff like that. And then I'm like, yeah, I'll spend like, an hour or two writing that. And then I thought to myself, why am I adding more things to my list of things I need to do? I have been writing a thing for the Ratfic Fest, and I might not even publish it because it's, I don't know. But it's at, I checked the word count today, it's at 25,000 words, and it started on August 2nd. And I was just thinking to myself, okay, I've been like doing all this AI art stuff. I wrote like 25,000 words over 9 days, plus all the exclusion stuff, plus writing for dungeons, plus editing dungeons. I'm like, why am I doing this? Plus editing Glimwarden, actually. I was like, why am I like pushing? Why do I write like I'm running out of time? Yeah, I just want to do it. Which is good. I mean, writing isn't always like that. Writing isn't always... I don't always feel like writing. But I've been writing a bunch of stuff, so... Barry Langmore. Sure. This is the classic D&D name generation of just like, oh god, I gotta name all these people. Normally I have for actual D&D, I have a pre-generated spreadsheet of names, and that I can go to, but we're actually going to say that he is a contemporary of, what is her name? How do I not know this? Luther's daughter's name. I don't know how this isn't, like, immediately in the memory banks. Dahlia. You know, I should have just remembered that it was a flower name. Thank you for that. I don't know. I might had a total blank there. Cidium. What's even more crazy is I'm not even using the name here. I was like, oh, what's her name? And I'm not even using it here because she wasn't known to be an adventurer, or like her. Oh no, I need her other name. I need her. Helio. I'm going to just make sure that this lines up right. Okay, so Dahlia is born in... Oh, you know what? It was... it actually doesn't say when Dahlia was... No. 3. Why does it just say... Why does it just say daughter? Okay, that's much better. Okay, so 3... So that in 58, he would be 55 years old. Okay. Craving of power is boring. We're going to do not that. I actually do find that really embarrassing. I forgot Dahlia's name. Try not to wallow in that shame too much, but oh man. But that's good. It means I'm starting to forget things, and I can read Worth the Candle fresh in a couple years. Um, it's true, and I've never used Dolly, because I am never gonna have access. But that's fine. I mean, Stable Diffusion is better than Dolly anyway. Um, Maybe not strictly better, but like takes the place of it. So whatever. I don't need OpenAI. I need it for GPT-3. There's still that, but yeah, I have 2 outstanding emails from them. The 2 emails from them being like, "Hey, you're on a wait list," because it went like 2 months and a bunch of people were getting invites. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe I'll send an email under like one of my other email accounts. I sent it under my author account, author@alexanderwales.com, which is the email I use for professional stuff. It's like my public facing email, and I was like, yeah, I'll just use that instead. Just be like, hey, I'm an author. I want pictures for my books and stuff. And they're like, nah, we'll just hand it out to whoever. Not you though. And I'm sure it's not. I guess I'm not sure, but it's the fact that I have not gotten a Dolly invite is probably not personal. It's probably just an oversight. But this is why, if you say you're setting up a wait list, it would be good to have to like actually chunk through that wait list instead of just handing things out, because that's not. It doesn't feel like a wait list. It feels like we're just like picking people that we are like doing cursory examination on. Yeah, that whole thing. I find it irritating, but it's not important anymore because I have other tools. Midjourney is actually working really well for image generation. In fact, maybe I will just do 1 entry today and not 2. And I will spend the latter half of the stream making images. I guess I would have to show Discord, and I don't want to do that. So I guess that's a bad idea. Okay. I was going to say the possible effects of the cards were limitless. That's one of the reasons I was talking, is because I got to this, and I was like, no, that's a bad sentence. I need a better sentence. Have I been able to reread earlier works fresh? Yes. I read Metropolitan Man, which is my Superman fanfic. It's like 80,000 words, so it's like novel length. I read that. I published it in 2013. I read it from the start last year, having not really touched it very much since then. And I thought the ending was maybe not 100% what I wanted, and there should have been more foreshadowing of the like final conflict or something, and maybe more viewpoint stuff. But I had criticisms of it, but I enjoyed it. And there's stuff like anything that I read that I wrote is so specifically geared toward me, and it's great. It's actually part of why I write, is because I can just have things exactly how I want them. I have been rereading Dungeons, which is not fresh to me, because I'm still working on it. But the initial stuff from a year ago, there's a certain place where I'm like, pacing's kind of crap here. I'm rereading what will be book 1, which is the first 200,000 words. To send it to a publisher, because I've got a publication deal for it. for This Used to Be About Dungeons. Ideally, I'm going to have a deal for the audiobook, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So Dungeons is going to have like actual proper publication, like ebook publication. The paperback version will kind of depend on sales. They're usually not money makers for the publisher or the author, and then hardcover would probably be through Kickstarter unless it does really well. But then like a Kickstarter can make you a substantial amount of money if it does decent, if it does okay, which would be great. It'd be great to be like making a living wage writing, which last year it was fine. This year is looking better, but I was reading the start of Dungeons. That's what I was saying, and I thought the pacing was a little off. There's definitely some stuff that I had forgotten. I'm actually keeping a list of it. I was going to post it in Discord, or maybe on Patreon. I'll just do that for my patrons. But I have a bunch of notes about like I totally forgot about that stuff. Like I'll give one example and then move back to the Exclusions doc. So like there's a mention of Hannah healing Isra's leg once, and I think it's never gone back to again. I might be wrong about that. There are like Verity read a bunch of poetry books. She like brought a bunch of poetry books with her to the house. I don't think those are mentioned again. Mizuki has like some amateur paintings hanging in one room, and I don't think anything was made of her painting. But that's the kind of thing that I want to add back in as I edit through, to just like bring that stuff up every once in a while, because it does add some texture to the characters and stuff. And there's a bunch of minor world building details, and some things that are getting fixed, especially paying attention to character voice a little bit more than I did when I was first writing, and especially as the character voices are established better. But the actual question was, how do I feel about them? I generally like stuff that I've written. Some of it I don't at all, especially further back you go. I'm like, these are some flaws. I was rereading Glimwarden, and I was like, which is from six years ago. I was like, this is too much of the rational energies in the wrong way. I like the rational energies, but they need to be properly employed. Okay, my hand's hurting me a little bit. I'm going to do a hand stretch and think about this. So yeah, I had not realized I was putting so many words and so much time into... Does elf luck help with the magic? Yes. Like, necessarily it does. But it's also the kind of thing an elf does not like. This randomness and variance and stuff like that. This is like a very anti-elf magic, which hopefully makes sense, like within the philosophy of the elves as outlined. Yeah, so my hand's actually been doing really great now that I have realized how much I've been writing. In the last 9 days, I think Dungeons has been... I think I've written about 50,000 words in the last 9 days, which is a lot. But my hand's been mostly fine. I really don't want my hands to be the limitation of my writing. I want my brain to be the limitation. And I actually don't want my brain to be the limitation either. I want to have no limits, but definitely having the hand be the limit is an annoyance. Yeah, in this one, it's not because it's magic. It's just like an elf is naturally not going to like things that, like, sometimes you pull the wrong card for this. Like that focus on perfection is, like, obviously, there are outliers for among the elves, and Worth Candle mostly focuses on outlier elves, specifically Falater. I always try to say it with the slight V. Valater instead of Falater. Okay. Are there meta magic cards? Yes, that's the direction we're going. The direction we're going is that he starts the creation of meta magic cards. Like tutors, super, super powerful under this system. We take King here. King is such a bland. I also want to look at my notes. I should have checked this before, and maybe I did check it. Tarot is the Valley of Cards, and no notes. Don't need ethnics, don't need cities. Okay, this should make it easier to find. Valley of Cards is down here. We're going to say Shah. Oops. Oh, I need to like add more to this. I know I've generated more images. Okay, I'm just going to do one. I've decided just one on this stream. Can you be the Shah of all of Miran? No, it is too large. It's not too large, but the process began in earnest. can actually start this earlier. We can say 45. It's working on this like 13 years, which is interesting. Um, and yes, this is introducing something that was not mentioned before that you can it said Shah. What does Shah mean? I think that just means king. Does it? Okay. I like probably not exactly equivalent to king, but whatever. I just want to make sure that's not. I think caliph is the word that I don't want to use. And this is a kind of thing I like to do because it gives like more variability to the world. If there's like if it's all just kings, my other option was president. But if it's all just kings, you get the sense that okay, like this is like Worth of Candle's supposed to be this big, huge world that has all this variation in it, even in spite of globalization. And during Uther's time, there should be even more variation. So like you can't just have everyone be a king, and if you find yourself using king and kingdom a lot, then that's a sign that you're being that you're flattening the world out a little bit too much. Here, Shah just implies something slightly different. Maybe this is like Islamic themed kingdom. I'm not going to say anything about the kingdom itself, but I like the variability there. I like the texture of a different word, which means functionally the same thing. It is usually kingdom mentioned, yeah. I will keep an eye on it with editing, but like there probably are like kingdoms are more of them than like any other government type. I know polity is mentioned quite a bit, nation, but yeah, for editing for sure I will. I don't know if I'm doing editing on stream. I kind of. You know what? I'll probably do some of the editing on stream. I'll probably do fill in some of the to-dos on stream, but I don't know if I'm doing full editing on stream. But I will definitely be taking a look at a lot of stuff. I know this is all explicitly first pass. I just need to make sure that that I want to minimize the amount of work that I need to do for myself on the first edit. So I think it's going to be one editing pass to remove the to-dos, remove some of the spelling errors, some things like that. I might make a channel for it, like a semi-private channel on the Discord, and open up the document a little bit to get some help, and maybe for patrons too, or something like that. Or something, I don't know. I think that for Dungeons chapters, usually there are like 5 errors, or if not errors, then like 5 corrections that I accept per chapter. It's roughly that, and that's for roughly 5,000 words. So I try to keep my error rate as low as 1 error per 1,000 words, which would mean right now there would be 34 errors in here that need to be caught. There are probably more than that because I have not done any editing on this whatsoever. But usually I catch like 5 to 10 things per 1,000 words. So my guess is there's let's say 90 errors within this document right now, either in spelling or grammar or repeated words where it diminishes the text, or probably some continuity errors that have not been caught yet because I have not looked at them and because this document is not public. But I've been thinking about the editing of this more than halfway through, so 85 pages, geez. Okay. But yes, I will definitely look at some of that, and some of that is going to be a look at this map. Because, yes, East and West Ankia should be mostly kingdoms, and Bredigain should be entirely kingdoms. Like, so these should all be kingdoms through here. Maybe not up in this area. But then the further out you go, the more exotic the... not just the words we use for kingdoms, but the more exotic the actual like government types should be. You should have like weird matriarchies, like the Orcish matriarchies are mentioned in Worth the Candle. You should have gerontocracies. You should have different things. The further that you get from basically Caerdal, or not Caerdal, what's it called? It should be in this area. Keldwich. Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot. I mean, there's supposed to be a lot of different government types within within. It's supposed to have like basically every different government type within Worth the Candle, and so I want that variability, but I also want this sort of radiating, like this area is the most classically fantasy area, and then this area is like kind of the same going out. Like it's maybe a little bit different, and then the further you get out, the more the less Western it should be. Like either it's gonna be like Eastern or American or African or whatever. And then like when you get past that, like past a certain place, you're getting into like weird stuff that only exists in fantasy. Partly because that's kind of how I see fantasy going. It's like that foreignness that gets added in expansions. Like a World of Warcraft, which I played a lot of, it inspires some of the world building in Worth the Candle in terms of that, like this area is Stormwind, and the further you get away from Stormwind, the more you get into like other fantasy counterpart cultures, and the further away you get, the further from like medieval Western you get. And then like every time they add an expansion, it's always like, oh yeah, well we haven't done like the East. We're gonna add in Pandaria, which is largely Asian inspired, or it's we're gonna slowly add in other cultures, and the like. I don't know. I wanted that kind of feel, that kind of like it's very Western chauvinism kind of. Maybe that's not the right word for it. It does feel a little like politically incorrect in some ways that it is like that, but I like that for this, that you step out of specific flavor of medieval Europe and from Tolkien and stuff like that, and you get the rest of the world basically in fantasy counterpart cultures, of which there are not very many of in Worth the Candle. Anyway, moving back to this. Sorry for the digressions, but I love the digressions. I do those because I enjoy talking about them. Here, we need to talk about Baria. Baria was driven by... Baria in Magic the Gathering terms is a Johnny. Um, we're just going to call it the deck of many things. This is a D&D reference. This is, actually don't know what the 5th edition version is like, but it's a deck of cards that has a bunch of outcomes. They are somewhat based on tarot, I think. I mean, here, this is just based on a deck of cards, but they have effects that are listed here. So we're just going to call it the deck of many things. And we're going to say it's a reference to D&D, and it is, but we'll see. Okay. We're going to say that's what Barry called his own deck. Soon Laid Waste. What? Laid Waste 2? I think Laid Waste 2 is more correct. Am I happy with this? Let's look at it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but am I happy with this? I think I am. I need features, because features is where we sell this. So I like, what do I like here? I like the idea that Beria is just a Johnny from the Magic the Gathering psychographics. He is a guy who likes these systems, and he's like, ooh, what fun and interesting things can I do within these rules? And it's not that he, was fighting in defense of anything. He was just a tinkerer, and he just tinkered too much, and then this happened. I think there's a lot in the exclusion stock already of people who push some certain magic for the sake of power, which in psychographic speak would be sorry, would be Spike, right? I don't know how many Timmies we have. People just like big stompy things, big powerful effects, and it's the power that they like more than the utility. But this I think it's not. It's probably not the first classic Johnny, but it's the first one that's like explicitly that. Like it's just pushing things for the sake of pushing things because you like to break a system. You like to look at the rules and you like to try to tear the rules apart. That is what I like about this. And I think it's a fine entry so far. I'm pretty happy with this one. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Sorry, I gotta mute the server. I normally keep the Discord on mute because it just like interferes with writing so much. I mean, not while I'm streaming. While I'm streaming, I keep it on mute, but I keep it on mute normally, and then I just dip in every now and then, and try not to let myself get addicted to Discord. Like I try not to get addicted to so many things. Oh yeah, there's a lot of things I like. I like the venture capital aspect. I like the spending a bunch of money on a deck. And so you can have like all the best cards. I also think Midjourney is going to be able to make a pretty good picture for this one. I'm actually going to type in into the bot EZ. Imagine magical cards being cast from a tarot deck. I'm not going to do that on stream because Midjourney is like slow. I like to do it in relaxed mode. I like to just send a bunch of prompts to see what happens. But I'm hoping it seems like the kind of thing that Midjourney would not suck at for art generation. One spell every half second is too much. Or say every 6 seconds, which is D&D time. That's one round in D&D. Looks like Midjourney is just going to give me pictures of some tarot cards. I want like floating magical cards. Okay, no. Can't do that right now. Gotta focus on the writing. One spell every 6 seconds. Because and you know what I did? I think I removed it before I started on this, but I had a thing in here. Oh no, I should be added as addendum. I was like, yeah, that's what I need to do. I'm gonna remove that. What I need to do is have an addendum of like all 500 spells in this deck. That's what I need to do with my time. That'd be just absolutely dumb. Is this too dumb to call it the straight flush? No. Never. You can never be too dumb. I I'm not going to do that. I'm not putting that addendum in, but I am going to put a note that there's an addendum in. Because I oh, I was like, who is messaging me? It's just Midjourney. Results are not what I wanted. I am gonna get distracted, especially if Midjourney keeps pinging me. We need examples though. Examples are great. Show, I mean tell, but also show. My rule. And yeah, this is at least partly based on going infinite in Magic the Gathering. Which is what happens when you just like there is no stopping point for the only stopping point for when your combo is going to finish is when your opponent is dead, and sometimes you can go infinite and it just ends the game because that's how Magic the Gathering handles it. So this is the idea from a Magic the Gathering standpoint is that, oh, and actually I'm gonna include that. Ooh, yeah. So if you are on Discord, you can look in. I think some of these are in the right direction. I will actually show them before we're done. some pictures and stuff. But I think that it's not going to be too hard to get something that I'm personally happy with for like a wizard casting magical cards, because that's like a trope. Okay. Is that not how you spell dissolve? Are put back together, turned to stone, and dissolve into... I think that's fine. Specific cards within the... Combine them, speed up casting. Am I happy with that? Sure, fine. I think it could be better. I think that's a good mental image for me. Well, in the D&D version, yes, the caster is limited to one card every 6 seconds. But if you have meta cards that change how cards work, then one of the things you could have would be a card that speeds up your casting speed of other cards. But in the D&D version, yes, it was once every 6 seconds, which is good because that's in D&D that's one action. So you would just do as a standard action a card, which would do a spell, and you have to decide what that spell, how that spell is going to be used. Like if it's a fireball, where's that fireball going to be located? I have a doc somewhere that had my complete list of spells for the Tarot Mage opponent that I was using. and I would go finding it, but I don't think it's that interesting. I remember there was a portal so that he could escape, so that he could like have 6 or 7 rounds, and if he wasn't defeated by then, he would throw out the portal randomly, not actually randomly because I stacked the deck, but he would throw out the portal if they didn't defeat him in time, and then he would go through the portal and leave. But it's a way of timing. I for this case, the like okay, so there's 2 different ways that you could speed up under this regime. Is you could speed up the rate of cards, or you could have one card have many effects. So like when you cast this card, when you cast this card, cast the like 3 cards below it at the same time, which is not one spell every 6 seconds. It's like 4 cards at once, which is obviously breaks the time economy or the action economy of this. In something FE. Rock and roll. Mail. Which mail? Which he? All right. I'm gonna be done with this one. I feel like there's like an extra line to be added somewhere about something. Like, I think that's a good story hook of like trying to go in and stop this deck, or like, it doesn't really get you anything though because of the nature of exclusion. Like, if I were doing a D&D campaign, yes, there would be this incredibly powerful rogue deck of many things, and it's been going for like hundreds of years, and if you can like figure out a way to come in and stop it, then you can have the deck and it can be like your artifact and stuff. But that doesn't work under exclusion. I'm not going to try to make it work. 1,200 words over 1.5 hours. There's some talking about other stuff in there, which is totally fine by me. I like talking about other stuff. I do not sweat it. Tarot, and we gave this 58. Call it first pass. Boop and boop. Okay. No, this doesn't have my stuff. Where's my stuff? Where's my Tarot Mage's stuff? So yeah, I am just going to show a little bit of this. I was trying to do Doris Finch, I think. I think this might be the best among those I was able to get Midjourney to make. Like, this arm is wonky. Like, noticeably wonky. Like, what the heck's going on here? But this overall look of, like, a chaotic slum and people, like, these women moving through it is pretty good. So, but there's like, a lot of variations here of that. Something like this for Manifest, I like the like city or the fantasy metropolis at its peak. Some proactive butterfly mage could have made the deck reach its natural end if they had known about it. Maybe. Maybe. Or a pathist, yeah. Like, that doesn't really... Stopping the deck doesn't really help you that much. But it yeah, there's some overlap with butterfly mages, and I think that works out in terms of time for the exclusions. Right? Butterfly magic is 100. It's like so there's a period of like 27 years where a butterfly mage could have done that. Yes, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine and interesting. I remember liking this picture. I can't remember what I wanted it for, if anything. I think a lot of these I'm just... Right, we stopped the deck. Now what is... I think some of these are pictures that I like that are in search of a home. I'm actually going to bookmark that one as Doris Finch and bookmark that one as Manifest, and... bookmark this one because I like it, but I don't have a zone for this. I don't think... Like, yeah, some of these are good. That one's good. Like, like the clouds are really nice. It's got like a nice look to it. I just don't like have a zone for it. A lot of failures, obviously. Oh, and I was trying to do the two towers. This gets a bookmark. So this is technically work done on the exclusion stock. I like this as observation towers on the edge of an exclusion zone. Like, Steel Mage made government issue observation towers for like some exclusion zone. I think this is a neat picture that like evokes a sense of something. Sorry, I'm just looking through to see if there's anything else. I like that one too. That I generated that I want to keep. And I don't actually think there is, which is kind of sad. I'm going to keep that one because I like it. Oh yeah, one of these is Pendleham. I think it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. I just need to bookmark it. That's already in the doc, I think. Attempts at making a little ice fox for Glassy Fields, using a still from a Star Wars The Last Jedi. And this is like a little icy fox. It doesn't quite match the description. There's this horrifying flesh or fur thing over here. There's too many lights in the background, but I think this is close. I think probably I can coerce or cherry pick Midjourney into making something for Glassy Fields. I'm just using a Bacon Time. I was trying to generate something better for Bacon Time. Ooh, this Momorath. This is like close. That's the closest I was able to get, I think. Because I wanted just legs coming down from the cloud in a fantasy city. I wanted the clouds to be green. Can't really do green clouds. You're like, oh, green clouds? And they're like, oh, did you mean green grass and some clouds overhead? And then you say, no, it's not what I wanted, in fact. This is kind of close to Leo, which is noted for having a bunch of like domed buildings and stuff. It should probably not have minarets. Should probably not have these spires on the domes. This is gross, but I don't know quite what form Necro Laborum is going to take, but I think that this is like a nice gross picture. I'm not going to bookmark it. And then yeah, this was for Glassy Fields. That's not bad. That is feeding in an image of an ice storm and then including castle. This is too much ice. This is not clear enough ice, which is a problem. And then I think this is all previous stuff. Okay, I've gone through all the image stuff I wanted to go through, and I'm going to work on images for Valley of Cards, and I probably will also work on one for Old Gromsh, which will be our Psionics Jurassic Park, which will be fun. That will be for next time. I need to find one other entry that I can use that will be my backup for next time if I want to do two. I'm going to say moot. I'm going to say moot, although I don't. Whoops, not red. Green. I'm going to say moot, although I don't. I'm not sure I have an idea for moot, but part of the idea is that I, when I'm doing the dishes or I'm cooking dinner or whatever, I can just work on writing by storing it in my head and knowing what I am doing. Okay, I gotta write some dungeons and generate some AI art, and I'm done with the stream. I'm gonna give it an extra like 20 seconds of silence at the end. So, but this is ta-ta for now, and I'll see you next time.